Okay, we're gonna get Ben Fernandez on here, another Walla Walla content creator, and we're gonna spill the tea, talk about social media for local businesses, for small businesses, what their biggest challenges are, and then also, like what they can do. Okay, so we're gonna wait for Ben to be on here. Ray K, hey, thanks for being here. Okay, while we're waiting for him to join, okay, there's a couple things, like we're both working with small businesses, so Ben takes a little bit more of an ads approach, and I take a little bit more. Well, I take on another layer of like content strategy, ongoing, organic content strategy. And I first saw Ben on the case, or on the scene, and I was like, who is this guy? He looks young. Does he really know what he's talking about? So I made sure to have a call with him, and turns out he does. So we're going to get him on here. So we're going to add Ben. Okay. Benjamin, social media manager. Okay, I'm here. View request. Yeah. I'm pushing all the buttons. Okay, Benjamin, hello. Is it Ben or
What's
Benjamin?
up? Benjamin. Benjamin
Cool.
always, I introduce myself as that, but yes. How's it going?
Good. It's great. I'm really glad we can have this. We've got like a handful of people on here already. And so I had a couple things I definitely wanted to talk about, but then I also was going to invite people to ask questions too, because you and I are both Walla Walla content creators. And I was saying before you hopped on, I don't know if you heard it, how it seems like you're kind of taking the more like ads route, and I'm taking the more organic route, but there's obviously
Yeah,
still a lot of overlap there.
totally. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
excited. Heck yeah. I love your
Yeah.
earrings, by the way. Those are so cool.
Thank you. I just got these today. Yeah.
Let's go. That's sick.
Yeah, so let's hear about you. So I kind of know a little bit about your story. So tell us how you got started. Like, why did you decide to start your own social media agency? And what's it called again?
It's called Neverland Creative Co.
Yeah. Okay, good. So tell us, like, when did you decide to start that and why? Tell us that.
Yeah, great question. So, my faith in Jesus is so deeply rooted in what I do as a business at the end of the day. So, I actually jumped into having my media agency because of a missions trip that I went on to Uganda. Did we talk about this?
I didn't know you said mission trip, but I didn't know it was Uganda. Like, we did talk about it
Okay.
a little bit, but that was a long time ago. So keep going.
Yeah, sounds good. So
Okay.
I went to Uganda with this, I really with it's one thing to go and it's one thing to hear about how people are starving in a country or how rough it is in another country like a third world. And then it's another thing to go there and experience it and
Yeah.
see it firsthand. And so it really changed me on the inside. And I came back just really with this heart of just like, God, I really want to serve these people. I knew financially I needed to practically I just needed to make more money to be able to serve them and help them in ways from, not being able to be there physically. And so I spent a lot of time just praying and asking God, Lord, can we make a way for me to be able to make more money to be able to serve these people? And I went out there or I took another missions trip out there in January, and I ended up starting my agency just out of this place. I wanted to provide more, and I felt like God really blessed it, and I ended up getting a bunch of brand new clients, learning more about the industry. I always did photography and videography, but it was able for me to turn my passion into a business was just a shift that I made, and it was just so amazing since I started. So, yeah, that's a little bit of how I started.
I love that. So you basically went down there and you kind of fell in love with the mission, and you just like had this desire lodged in your heart that was like, I have to be able to like financially support this mission and this cause. I'm going to figure out how
Right.
to make money. I have this skill set. Let's go. Right.
Absolutely. That was 100% it. Yeah.
That's actually really cool. Like I said, I kind of did, but I kind of didn't. But you and I have such like we're so similar, but also so different. But so similar, but so different. Because I was just saying, like I did a bunch of stories earlier, and like I'm definitely taking that approach where like I feel like soul connected to my mission too, right? And but I'm a little bit different, so I'm more of like a the universe will tell me the way and manifesting this, but it really was like, can I be the conduit for my own wealth? Like, it's kind of like an experiment where I was like, I was like going through a massive, massive heartbreak, like so sad, where I was like, I'm so tired, I'm so heartbroken, I can't even get up. Like, gravity is like too strong. I just can't. It's too sad. So then
Yeah.
once I kind of like came around again and I was getting into all this self help, I was just learning about manifesting, and all the information was like just packaged in a way that I could really get behind. And I was like, yeah, I think I can. And it was like mindset, like I had a 9 to 5, and I was like, cultivating a gratitude practice and everything. And then I was like, you know what? I'm pretty sure that I can make my own money without a boss. Like, and I always
Right.
say that my spiritual journey turned into my entrepreneurial journey. And, like I have a lot of skills, but social media was just like the most fresh skill that I had, and I was like, I bet I can do that. And so when you and I both talk about serving our people a lot, which I think is great, especially because in social media, people kind of tend to think that it's like so shallow, and like there's definitely a lot of people that just don't feel like it's a good use of your time and all these things. But you and I
Right.
both kind of, from what I'm assuming is true, and correct me if I'm wrong, but like when I'm working with my clients, there's so much like confidence building that goes too, right? Where it's like they don't trust their message, or like, do I look and sound okay? And I'm like, babe, you're a freaking genius. Of course you do. We'll keep
Right.
talking more, right? And
Totally.
then there's so many businesses that are really struggling because they're wearing so many hats, and they're like, this is just
Right.
one thing. Like the way that I feel about like bookkeeping is probably the way that most people feel about social media, where I'm like, I know I have to do it, but I just don't wanna. So it's just like it's so much deeper than like, let me just make a ton of reels and care all about the views. Like it's really like
Totally.
coming from a level of support.
Absolutely, 100%. And I think that's one of my favorite things too, because it's like we financially get to support Uganda because of it, but then B, like we get to come into these businesses' lives and take a piece that honestly, like most of the time they just don't know anything about it. They don't know how to really go about it in any way, shape, or form. And
Right?
it feels scary for them most of the time.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's so vulnerable and it's like so
Yes.
transparent to be in front of a
Yeah.
camera. And we get to come and be there for the process of them building confidence in that area. And oh my gosh, it's just and bring them more business.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Like
like
help them.
the businesses that I work with, they're also so awesome that I'm like literally like, let me bring you more people. Like I want to be dropping your name in all the rooms too.
Absolutely, 100%.
So let's give some little nuggets of wisdom here, right? So one thing that I really would love to know, like I think a lot of people are wondering how we can incorporate AI into our businesses, and not you and me, but like the local businesses. So I would love to kind of hear your thoughts on incorporating AI into like social media marketing strategy.
Love it. I Everybody has their own thoughts about AI.
Sure, of
Everybody
course,
does.
it's a hot topic.
Totally right. My personal opinion is I think that I'm just gonna throw out something that I think is just there's no actual statistic to this, but this is just my thought.
Okay.
If everybody in business used AI, we could probably all at some point increase our efficiency by probably 50 to at least 100%
Yeah.
because of how many like menial little things that every business does day in and day out that they actually could just like automate if they knew how to use AI.
Right.
And so whether that's through using ChatGPT or using like there's an amazing program if you or anybody that's watching right now doesn't know about, it's called Zapier.
Yeah.
Zapier, do you know what that is?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I love it. I mean, it literally is this program where it uses AI and a bunch of different automations
Yeah.
that communicates with all of these other different programs. So
Yeah.
I have this friend who is super, super good at this. He just takes every aspect of his business and other businesses that he's running, and he just uses Zapier, ChatGPT, and a couple other different AIs, and they just automate tasks so that
Mm,
we don't have to do them anymore. And
that's so
so
good.
even for like content creation when it comes to ideation, like use ChatGPT to like run through ideas with you.
Hmm.
The thing I love about ChatGPT, probably more than anything, is I treat it like an employee of mine, and I talk to it like a person because
Mhm.
it is in a weird way.
Yeah,
And so like
totally.
I just ask it, for things that I don't know how to do in my business,
Yeah.
or like technical things. Hey, like here's this screenshot of this error message that I'm getting. How do I fix this? And it gives you step by step how to fix everything. So I
That's
think
good.
if we
Yeah.
just used it in anything and everything that we can, honestly.
Yeah. I have a super sexy onboarding workflow using Zapier, and sexy is absolutely the right word because I'm like, whoa, workflow automation, like it's the form, and then they book the call, and then it's a confirmation email, and da 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 da, all in one fell swoop. And I'm telling you, like, I legit, I'm like, oh my god, that's such a sexy workflow. Yeah. So what about like, let's talk about if there's a business out there and they're aware of the problem, they're like, I know I need to be doing social media. What's like, I had one person like reply to that sticker on the story that was like, okay, if you have one, um, hold on, I think you might be frozen. If you have one piece of advice or like one thing you wish every business owner knew, what would it be? Okay, I'm just gonna keep going because it looks like Benjamin might be frozen. I hope you come back, Benjamin. And I'm gonna take this freeze opportunity to say, okay, this is my 2 cents, right? If I could give one piece of advice to anyone who owned a business about social media, what would it be? It would be start putting out content even though it's not perfect. Okay. Oh, what's a common misconception of your role as a social media content manager? Okay, thank you, Nadine. Nadine, if you're on here, can you reply back like right now? Am I coming through and is Benjamin frozen or anybody who's watching this? I would love to know because it looks like my Wi-Fi is strong. So let's okay, accept. Let's see technical difficulties. Dang it. Okay. So can you add me again? Okay, so can you guys hear me? Oh, Ben is frozen. Thanks, Rochelle. But you can hear me just fine, right? Okay. Okay. Accept. Let's add Ben back. Okay, yes, we can hear you fine. Okay, it
I'm
was Ben.
back.
Benjamin, are
Sorry
you
about
there?
that. I'm here. Sorry about that. I have no clue what happened. It just went out.
Well, you know what? That's okay. We all know at this point that sometimes technology that happens, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Nadine asked a question. She said, "What's a common misconception of your role as a social media content manager?" And I think I was just about to go into that. So I think a common misconception is a lot of businesses they're like, "Well, we're a professional. Like our content needs to be super produced, and like I need to make like a whole campaign." And I get where they're coming from because if they're a business owner, like they've worked very hard to get that business off the ground and they want to protect their baby. But sometimes if somebody can't hire one of us, for example, I would just say, for the love of God, please just start posting stuff, and just like start like building that habit, build some momentum. And like it's going to be imperfect, but you just have to know that that momentum is the most important thing. And then like when you get a little bit more awareness, hopefully you have more revenue, and then you can bring on somebody to help you with that. But I just think a lot of people, they just get so stuck in that perfectionism, and they want to protect the quality, of course, and I respect that. But um sometimes I just think that they get too caught up in like things being perfect, and they're not doing anything.
You're right. Right.
So is that something that you come in contact a lot with people that you work with?
Yeah, I was just thinking about it as you're talking. I think that probably one of the most common misconceptions is that we just make pretty content, or
Yeah,
just
for
like
real.
make cool stuff.
Yeah,
And it's like, no, we do have a strategy.
yeah,
Like we do think through it, and we have a reason behind why we do things a certain way.
yeah,
I think one of the other things that I commonly get misconceptions about is like um specifically with the ads portion of things, like, how does that work? And also like, do we just make posts? we do a lot more than just make posts. Even if, in your portion you're not running ads, we do a lot more than just that.
Mm,
And I would say 100%, the great thing about Instagram and Facebook is their social media platforms where it's not this insanely produced piece of content.
yeah.
Even like for myself, like I will be just straightly upfront and honest, like there's people in town that make better videos. They make better photos. They're better photographers or videographers,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't have the sales, like social media aspect on their mind. And so I would argue, like we make better marketing content. We make better content that sells things, because you can make something super pretty, but it's not pretty that sells something necessarily. It's
Yeah.
how you do your content.
Well, and also too, like videography isn't social media because videographers, and I'm not talking down at all, but I mean, like if that's your background is videography and not so much social media, what I noticed that they don't have those like attention hacking cues, right? Like the subtle zoom ins or like the movement hook or like getting on the pain point or like the visual, like they'll have the
Yes.
visual storytelling part and it looks really pretty. But is it gonna get a lot of views? No, no trending audio. Like, no, it's not optimized for that like quick, well, yeah, the short attention spans, right? And so,
Right.
and I think that again, like sometimes business owners will be like, I want something that looks really beautiful and produced and da 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 because I'm a professional. And then, they might get a really pretty video, but is it convert? And like if they don't have like, for example, I always
Yes.
say like, please make sure this for the first step is to update your like optimize your profile because if you're not attracting the right people and you're not converting them with that link in bio, all that traffic, if you do go, if it does perform well, it's not going anywhere and it's not feeding your business like into your email list or whatever your like lead capture situation is, right? And so
Right.
that's why the first thing that I always say, and like I have an email automation, like I give people a free profile audit first, like when they sign up for emails, because I think that's the most important thing. So get that going, like make sure it has your keywords in there and it has some level of, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Authority, right? Like how to even,
Absolutely.
yeah, like have one little net. And I always tell people like, hopefully you can have like a superlative in there, like the best this or like the number of something, right? And then like have some kind of lead capture and don't have it go right to your website, right? Like have it go to a lead capture situation. And so I
Right.
think that's a super important thing. And after that, it's like okay, just build a habit. Like set that time aside. And it's just like if you were working out, if you've never worked out in your entire life, are you going to start by going to the gym 5 days a week? I mean, you could, but you're probably not going to stick to it. But could you just walk every day for 10 minutes, 30 minutes, right? And so
Right.
when I'm working with people that like I'm not going to produce their content, but it's like a if I'm doing like speaking or coaching or something, they're like, well, how many things should I post? Like, how much should I post? And I'm like, okay, we're gonna do this a different way. If I tell you post once a week, do you get that punch to the gut that's like, oh, I can't do that? Then that's not the right number for you. And like you need to
Right.
adjust from so like I would rather have somebody post once a month and know that they can do that and hopefully crank it up from there than just get so caught up on all the details and doing it the best way that they just don't do anything.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So what's a piece of advice that you would give to, a small business where they're like, maybe in the area, maybe not, but they're probably like a brick and mortar business and they know they want to get on social media, they know it's important, but they don't know what to do. What would you say from there?
Yeah. Great question. I would say if you're waiting for the perfect moment to start, it's never going to come,
Yep.
and you just got to start.
You just got to start. I love that. Okay.
Just pick
So
up your phone and start somewhere, because it really is, it's something you'll never get to unless you just do it. You just have to start with your phone, take some pictures, get some advice from a friend that understands, or, I'm always a proponent of hiring a professional. That's my personal opinion. But if it's somewhere where you just need to start, like I mean, this is true for myself, and I'm pretty sure you can correct me if I'm wrong, Sarah. We both offer free consultations, right?
yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean, more or less. I'm kind of
Yeah.
adjusting. I really need to guard my time right now, but I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, and where you can, or we're available to have conversations about it too. But
Yeah.
really, it is starting somewhere. Just start.
Yeah. Yeah. What I'll do is like I have my emails and I have like an automation so they get like almost like a mini course delivered, and then I have a free masterclass on my website that's like basically saying the difference between like stories are seen by the people that are like your warm leads, right? And like carousels are nurture content, reels are attraction content usually. So that's my masterclass. And so if they have gone through all those free materials and they've watched that free masterclass and they still have questions, then yes, but right now I used to do like a free 1 hour consultation, and then now I'm much at the point where I'm like, okay, here's some free resources, and then from there, like I'll have people on my email list that they'll ask me questions, and I can go a little bit more in detail, um, in my emails, right? So that way it's like, okay, I'm still talking to a lot of people and giving a lot of free value, and I do want to give a lot of free value just for that reason of like helping people that don't have a budget, and then hopefully they start implementing, and then when they have a budget we can then we can kind of ease them into whatever the program is that they need at that time.
Right. Totally.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell me about the people, like, who's your ideal client, like who are the people that you're so excited to work with?
Well, really, because we primarily do a lot of ad stuff now. And
Yeah.
so I would say, honestly, people that have really high tickets. So people that
Okay.
make a lot per client. So people that are in construction, people that are a healthcare professional, lawyers, therapists, anything in construction really is our ideal bread and butter.
Okay.
Because what we do is we do ads for them, and when we bring them in, we guarantee them success through how leads work through ads.
Okay.
And it's better than, for example, like a coffee shop. you know a coffee shop for us, we might bring them, one or two brand new customers, let's just say, but those one or two brand new customers are like $4 or $5 a profit, if that.
Mm-hmm.
That's even being
Sure.
generous.
Yeah.
Versus a construction company or any of those types of companies, they make thousands and thousands of dollars per brand new person.
Yeah.
So they're way more effective through our ad strategies that we use. Those are definitely our ideal.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And I gotta say, like, ads is my weakness. Like, the organic ongoing is my bread and butter. And, like, I feel like somebody can just talk for like 5 minutes, and I'm like, real. I have like the dings in my head that's like, bam, 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 like, that's one, that's one, that's one, that's one, that's one, gonna repurpose 3 ways. But I tell you, like, I'm still working on my ads. I'll be honest about that.
Yeah, totally. And there's the difference. Like I was in the same boat for a long time with what I did as a company. It was the same thing. Was is like I produced like 15 pieces of content for these businesses and such, and then we just kind of shifted out of that.
Yeah.
Um, but for businesses like coffee shops, they need stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
They need multiple pieces of content more consistently. But
Yeah.
for construction companies, like you don't need to make a brand new piece of content for them every single day. It's a
Yeah.
different vibe for sure.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, I have one more question, and then while I'm doing that one question, I just would like anybody to, if you're in the comments, and like drop some questions if you'd like to have like know anything. I'm looking through. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, Nadine says we both bring a lot of fun and authenticity to the table, so I really appreciate that.
Thanks, Nadine.
Thanks, Nadine. Let me see. Okay, so let me have like one more tip. So for people that are watching the replay and everything, you say just start. So what does that look like? If somebody's super overwhelmed and they're like, okay, I'll just start, but just start doing what? What would you say?
You know, I'll give a shameless plug to you. I would honestly say do your master class. I think that would be the perfect place to start because like I don't have a master class, and
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily like, I would say you obviously already have the tools in place for helping local businesses have a start in that. Like
Yeah.
I don't have a class that says, here's how stories work, here's how this works. I would, previously say ask ChatGPT or go to YouTube,
Yeah.
but get on your email list and get into that masterclass. That's a great free content that explains to you how you can get started and then just start implementing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think people really get stuck with the implementation, and I really think it's because they're overthinking it and they that inner voice that's just like that doesn't look good or you sound stupid on like I don't like your voice. Like I just think that that gets so debilitating. But
Right.
you just have to. But it's like we do that with anything. We do that with any new habit that we're trying to build, you know. And what I would say too, like, thank you for that plug. I appreciate it. But also like, you know, Instagram doesn't, or like whatever your platform of choice is, like Instagram doesn't have to be a time waster. And I think that these brick and mortar businesses, like sometimes they have like a little bit of an older demographic, and so like we were who are owners, right? And so we were told like don't be on your phone at work. Social media is a waste of time, and so there's all this thing. But if you just kind of shift that, like social media, if you want to waste time on social media, then Instagram will support you with that. But if you want to learn or if you want to reach more people, Instagram will support you with that too. And so a lot of people don't realize that if they want to learn something new, they can comment. I can like search for that. Like if you want to learn about Zapier, go follow Zapier. Like go type in
Right.
automation and like start interacting with content about automations. And like that's a lot of the things when I first started learning social media, I was following all these mobile videographers and like edits and like all those creators, right, that do those tutorials. And then I would practice along with those tutorials. And so, you can learn about hooks, you can learn about ChatGPT, you can learn about
Yep.
like there's where all it's like all they post is like use this trending audio this week, and then now I'm getting those to my feed too. So I think that would be another great step. Like just implement, and if that's what you do, like just start consciously following like those types of accounts.
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah. Okay, well, before we hop off, do you have anything else you'd like to add now that we kind of got the juices flowing?
Yeah, totally. I think honestly, my biggest thing with social media that I would say is for the person that's like brand new to it and is just starting, is it's a super vulnerable, difficult thing to do at times. But don't get discouraged in it. Like really like you gotta have this like confidence and grit on the inside of you for a little bit is that it's not gonna be great for a little bit, but it will be great.
Yep. Yeah.
You like the videos that I made when I first started were hot trash, horrible,
Yeah.
but it took a lot of hot trash and a lot of horrible to get to being great.
Yeah. You got
And
to do the
so
rest.
like be in there for the reps, be in there for like just going through the process. And honestly, like everybody had to start somewhere. And so
Mm-hmm.
like you could start somewhere amazing by just hiring somebody out to do it, or you yourself could start in a place of not being really great and then get to being great. It just takes time.
It just takes time. And usually, when you start at not great, like your beginning followers, the people that follow you from the beginning, they're usually your biggest fans and they're legit cheering you on. And then
Absolutely.
the thing is when you're first starting out, you don't have a lot of visibility. Like you don't have a lot of views or a lot of followers. So if you are messing up, like hardly anyone's seeing it. And then you get
Right.
better, the followers come, and then more and more times. But they're gonna have like and every time one of my clients, every time their video pops off on TikTok, they always have so many just like rude, nasty comments, and they're at
Yep.
first they're like, well, we should delete those, or like that's a waste of time or whatever. And I'm like, no, that's honestly how you know that it's working. And
Right.
and then like
Honestly,
for
that's
one,
its own subject, is
yeah,
that right there. That
yeah,
is like its own subject. If you ever have a video that does amazing, or like even myself, every ad that I've ever run has somebody saying crap. Every
yeah,
ad. There's not a
yep.
single ad I've ever run that somebody hasn't said something. It's actually the proof that you did the right thing.
I agree, and that's why you said when it's like when you're being vulnerable because you're like that like fear of criticism that goes deep, and then you see that one jerk, and you know what? Go look at that jerk's account. Pretty sure they're a loser, honestly. Like pretty sure they don't up, pretty sure they're not living their best life. Like if you were living your best life and they were like a quality input, like they wouldn't be giving you that input, right? So you just
Right.
know that, like, give yourself a pat on the back if you got some haters out there because that's how you know you're showing up and you're doing the thing.
Absolutely. 100%.
Ah, I love that. Okay, well, okay, so you're wanting those clients, those construction, those high margin clients, and like, what's the best way for people to work with you if they do want to reach out?
I do, just like I said, I do free discovery calls. I'll meet with people in person, Walla Walla, if they want as well. I would just say, like, let's have a conversation
Yeah.
because I want to partner with people, and we honestly as a company do a lot more than just ads and social media management. We just hired another guy to do website integrations,
Oh, that's great.
and a bunch of other things. And so we really try to come as a multifaceted company to
Yeah.
meet you where you're at, to represent you the best online as possible, and actually prove and get you more sales. So have a call, reach out to me. In my bio is a place to schedule a call with me at your guys's, best timing. So yeah,
Cool. Cool. Okay, Benjamin. Well, I appreciate your time. I'm glad we were able to connect like those weeks, months ago, and I'm glad there's another like solid person that I could recommend to people. Honestly, like so. Thank you for being your best self, so I can like recommend you if people really need their ads. You know.
yeah, absolutely. Sarah, you're great. Thank you for what you do
Thank,
for the community. Seriously.
thank you. Appreciate it. Okay. Well, everybody have a great weekend. Thanks so much, Ben, and we'll talk soon.
Okay, see ya.
Bye.